shut up, you listen to my monkey mouth. There's a companion when you got pun on the canoa route. Hopped in a portal and got in a fight, Elias knocked him out. Bow, Naruto fighting style. Bow, UFC he tapped out. Bow, we win, we get crowned. Monkey mouth, monkey mouth, monkey mouth, monkey mouth.
Them Portal Boys be podcasting. This is Joshua.
And this is Elias.
And on this episode, we're going to be covering Season 6, Episode 7?
Episode 7, yeah.
Called Analyze Piss. And this episode is fucking wild. It actually had to... This is the first one, I believe, that they've done where they had to give everybody a disclaimer at the beginning.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, well, you know, because it depicted suicide.
Yeah.
And they're like, this might be disturbing to some of y'all. Which... I don't know. I felt like it was pretty mild in the scope of what they could have depicted.
Oh, you know what? I'm sorry. It's episode 8, Analyze Piss, not episode 7.
Oh, it's episode 8. Cool. Well, I'm glad that you verified that for us and the listeners, so that we're not confusing anybody.
Yeah. So episode 8, Analyze Piss, with a disclaimer, which is wild because, like, I guess it warrants it, but I don't know. We grew up in such a different time. We're old men.
Yeah, it didn't bother me.
Yeah,
I thought it was funny.
I saw Frank Grimes grab electric tubing to get away from Homer Simpson.
I remember. What was it? Fucking, it's Backcountry.
Oh yeah.
What movie is that?
Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas.
Whenever homie's high on acid and he's in the bathtub and he's like, "Listen, as the Jefferson Starship song reaches its climax, I want you to throw this fucking toaster in the oven in the bathtub with me." And instead of throwing the toaster in there, he hits him in the face with an orange. What a gangster.
They're eating oranges like it's going out of style to get all the necessary juices out of anything they're doing.
Citrus helps. But so the episode starts with them fighting Mr. Nimbus.
Yeah, Mr. Nimbus he's just pointing that dick around.
And I love that Mr. Nimbus slaps Rick with an eel and chokes him with an eel. Like the eel is a weapon.
What does he call him? You continental...
Oh, you continental shit?
Yeah.
Or some continental cunt.
Yeah,
like
I think that's what it was, right?
Something about him being continental.
Yeah.
One of my favorite things about the entire little scene that they did right there in the beginning is that Morty's Gatling gun was shooting shells. Did you see
perfect,
that?
Yeah.
It was belt-fed shells that he was shooting at those octopus.
And they're just ripping through the octopus, and he's like, "I can't hold them off forever.
There's too many of them," type shit. And so Rick winds up blowing up the bunker.
Yeah, but not before throwing them through like an Exxon Valdez.
Oh yeah, it starts
ship.
just dumping oil into the ocean. Yeah, but Mr. Nimbus clearly didn't give a too big a shit about that. Actually.
I don't think he cared. Yeah.
But so, they blow up the bunker, and Rick refers to it as Morty's bunker.
Yeah, so clearly there was something that we missed, which is awesome. I love when they do that.
Yeah, they just drop you off into the middle of some shit.
And he's built a sand bunker, and Mr. Nimbus wasn't having it.
I guess it was too small of an island that somehow breaches the peace treaty or something. Because they were not being peaceful.
Yeah, no, they declared war.
Yeah, that was not a peaceful interaction. The peace treaty is off the table, evidently.
And so he ends up blowing it up, and Mr. Nimbus is like, "You act like you won, but this is exactly what I wanted." So Mr. Nimbus out.
Literally twists his nipples, gets covered in fucking ocean goo, gets swallowed by a clam, and dips.
Yeah, he's done. He's like out of there. And then Morty basically confronts Rick and is like, you kind of bring these people on to yourself.
Well, so they hadn't... Rick was cool with fighting Nimbus.
Yeah.
He didn't like...
Oh, no, you're right.
He didn't like fighting Cookie Magneto.
I just like how Morty is questioning every bit of it. So do you control, like, aspects of, like...
Yeah, it's like, do you control everything that people agree are cookies? He goes, yes. Well, do you agree... like the ingredients, because that could be really dangerous. Everything has sugar.
I love how Morty could just pick apart.
Well, and it's right there with like that's really on some Magneto shit. Everybody has metal in their blood.
Yeah. Well,
everybody's got sugar in them, and so like, bruh, if homie controls sugar, like, whoa, we're in some fucking deep shit. And then Rick just melts this fool.
Like from head to toe, just leaves nothing but shins and
It's like
shoes.
just below the kneecaps.
Just standing shins.
I know you're going to say I'm punching down, but I don't have the energy to keep fighting these nonsense superhero characters. I'm not the Tick.
Which is a great reference. I used to love the Tick.
Bro, listen, not many people are going to remember the Tick.
Oh, man.
The Tick was dope.
It was a great little. I mean, was it like maybe 1 or 2 seasons, if that?
I think he was one of the primary influences for the Crimson Chin.
Oh yeah.
From Fairly Odd Parents.
That makes sense.
They look almost identical.
Yeah, they really do. That's a great one.
But right whenever Rick is explaining how he doesn't have the energy to keep fighting these dickheads, Mr. Calypso pops in out of nowhere. Who's just like this little floating gremlin dude with.
It reminds me of like. Do you ever watch the Flintstones growing up?
Yeah.
Yeah, the little like when
the little Martian guy.
Martian, yeah. There at like the last couple of seasons.
Yeah.
Kind of reminded me of that one.
Yeah, I can see that. I love that. I love that Mr. Calypso's hat floated.
Yeah.
Like Mr. Calypso's hat wasn't actually on his head. It was just floating above his head.
And that's whenever he comes to the realization that maybe it is him.
Like, all right, fine. Maybe I will look into it.
And
so that takes Rick to therapy.
Yeah, and so he's.
Which he's I'm not here for therapy. I'm just here to hear what the people in your particular racket have to say about this type of situation. She's like, well, we'd have to know what the situation was. Like, well, I'm basically a walking target for these idiots to try and fight me because they feel like fighting me is, I don't know, a platform.
And as he's doing that, he's got Mr. Calypso in a jar with tubes feeding him.
Fucking sucking his life essence out. And one of my favorite things about this whole exchange is whenever Rick goes, look at this guy. He comes in out of nowhere and calls me a drunk. Like, that's going to be the thing that takes me down. You don't shoot Batman in his Batman emblem.
That was so great.
It's like, damn, Rick knows where he's at. Rick knows what his superpower is. But Wong effectively tells Rick to ignore them.
Yeah, just kind of let it go. Let it just roll off your back.
Literally ignore them. And she can tell that Rick doesn't really like this idea. Mm-hmm. I think he even goes so far as to go, you really think that if I ignore a guy like this and let him do what he wants, he suddenly gets bored and goes away? No. And she's like, would you be interested in proving me wrong? And of course, Rick's like, yeah. She's like, take a week. Ignore him for a week. Gather scientific data on what happens and present that data back to me, and we'll see where we're at.
And so at this point,
which shout out Dr. Wong.
Yeah, Dr.
for being able to trick Rick into doing Dr. something Wong, healthy.
With the exception of not being able to I mean, is having he always seems to get interrupted. But what is it? The teacher, Mr. Goldenfall.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Goldenfall is like always getting interrupted through his psychiatric care.
Yeah.
So he
can't escape that Smith family.
Yeah. So every time he's tried to get in there and get a little bit of his noggin taken care of, it always seems to get cut short.
Which, I mean, so we're not there in the episode yet, but later on in the episode, Rick literally busts back in to present this data that we're referring to right now to Dr. Wong. And Goldenfeld's like, I just don't know if therapy's working. I have so many issues. And Rick turns him into a housefly. Like what Jerry, I mean, so...
Yeah, that's what I was trying to get to.
Yeah, literally after this conversation, they go to the house and Jerry talks about the housefly. And so Jerry knew that he turned someone into a housefly.
I don't know if it's like a cut to the next day, because I think it's a breakfast scene again, because that's where they seem to like have their most like kind of cathartic moments is during breakfast. So I think it was like another breakfast scene where they're like, he's like, okay, I've gone to therapy. I'm going to give it a break. You know, I'm gonna.
Well, they're trying to give him a pat on the back.
Yeah.
For like accepting therapy.
Yeah, accepting. And then as that progresses, and he tells them that he knew that he was a fly in the in Beth's office. He's like, that was just a regular fly. You're just thinking too much into it.
Yeah.
And then as that happens, here comes
Rick busting into the office later, turning Goldenfold into a fly. So clearly Jerry knew what the fuck was up.
Yeah.
But one last thing that I do want to touch on while they were still in the actual therapy office, which is what I believe was probably my literal favorite moment of the entire episode.
Oh, yeah.
Was they pump, like Rick has Mr. Calypso hooked up to tubes and they're like sucking shit out of him. and they suck him dry, and he's sitting there floating dead, and Wong is like, is he okay? And Rick asks, is everything in this office confidential? And she goes, everything but murder. And he goes, well, then he's fine.
And then just like...
And that's when we cut to breakfast.
Yeah, we cut to breakfast. And so as this is happening, like you said, they're giving him kudos and pats on the back for getting therapy.
Yeah, accepting therapy.
And then as this is going on, then you have the Piss Master? What is it?
Piss Master.
Piss Master, yeah.
Yeah.
The Piss Master is, as they're talking, it's not even like it seems to be going on, and then Jerry just kind of notices it. But like he's drenching their house in piss and is taunting him and telling him to come out. And then he proceeds to tell Rick who's the girl. I'd like to piss all over her. And that's whenever
I'll give her a golden shower.
I was like, how hard was it for them not to interject R. Kelly references throughout this entire episode?
It's pretty low hanging fruit, so I don't know. They might be like too uppity to sink to that level. But then again, they did an entire episode about sperm. Yeah, so I don't think they're above it. So but Jerry gets pissed about Pissmaster sexualizing his daughter.
Yeah, and the thing is like, Rick is like, can you please not? Because I'm going to be the asshole if I don't help you, and I'm going to be the asshole if I do help you. So can we just, like, drop it? And he goes, no. He goes, he's not going to do it. He's not going to say he wants to pee on my daughter and get away with it.
Yeah, I'll respond to someone talking shit about my daughter how I choose.
Yeah.
And he goes out there and beats up Pissmaster. They have, like, this drawn out ridiculous fight scene.
It's essentially a fight between the kind of fight you would have and the kind of fight I would have.
Well, it's just like two dorks.
That's what I'm saying.
Right? Like Pissmaster puts up a piss shield and Jerry punches through it and like has to shake his wrist. Like, so he shakes his wrist where it hurts his hand.
Yeah. He's literally, you said he's doing the double
windmill, bro.
And I think he even slaps him.
I don't know what's going to be my favorite part in the episode. It's going to be either the double windmill or the he's fine.
I'm sorry, but the kindergarten safe scissors is probably the best part of the whole thing.
What now?
The kindergarten safe scissors to cut through the bomb when they're in Orphan Island.
Oh my god!
And they literally.
I really need to stress that I'm 8 years old and I don't know what the fuck I'm doing right now.
It's literally like child safe scissors to cut through what is essentially probably a neutrino bomb, because that is like his go-to.
Oh, he said it was an atom bomb.
Oh, atom bomb.
They wind up saying that it's an atom bomb. But yeah, so we keep moving through the episode,
and he cowers. He like tries to get under a car.
Oh, Jerry starts winning. Yeah. Well, so Jerry starts hitting him with a flamingo.
Yeah,
and that's when like the fight really turns, right?
Yeah.
It's like, oh shit, you got a weapon. Like, let me get away. And
he drags him out from under the car and presents him in front of Summer and says, "Apologize to my daughter." For what?
He's like, you know what?
That just like belly aching for what was just hilarious. It was beautiful.
They did some really, really excellent voice acting there.
And he's like, you know for what?
I'm sorry for sexualizing your daughter.
He's like, it came out wrong. And then he gets on his little piss like, it's literally like the
goblin.
The goblin, yeah. You knew exactly where I was going with
it. Yeah, he's got a goblin board, except it runs on piss.
He's like the goblin board and like runs away. And the thing is like everything runs on piss. Like he's literally drowning in piss. Like he's got piss in
he's breathing piss. Yeah. He's spraying piss. He's got a piss shield.
Yeah.
It's all piss.
Yeah.
He's Pissmaster.
He's Pissmaster, yeah.
And so Jerry trends.
Yeah.
Jerry like goes viral on social media. # Flamingo Dad. Flamingo. But
and then there's two, which is essentially like they're like the Marvel characters of like the
they're members of the Galactic Orb ship.
Yeah, which
is what they refer to themselves as.
That's kind of similar to like Marvel. Marvel has like a similar character with like that kind of like little body and big head. There's like I think they're like the Timekeepers or some kind of BS like that. Marvel people will probably be spurging out.
Weren't those the guys who got that turned out to be robots and got clapped?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, they were robots who got clapped by the Lokis.
Yeah.
And, man, speaking of which, bro, that Loki series was so good.
It was amazing.
It was really so good. So I haven't watched That's actually the only series from Marvel that I've seen. I've literally never watched another live-action superhero show.
I'm trying to think of which ones I have.
I've tried to watch several, and they're all terrible.
Yeah.
Like, bruh. Johnny Cage?
Oh, Punisher was good.
Terrible. Punisher TV show? Terrible, bro.
Punisher was good, man.
It's bad. I couldn't watch it.
Yeah.
A lot of them, like literally all of them. She-Hulk, can't get me to watch it. You know, like, I can't.
I never really was.
The Daredevil shows? Blech. Bleh. the fucking the Flash, the shows about the Flash. Bleh.
That's DC though.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah,
it's all fucking superheroes, bro.
Yeah.
And the superhero TV shows fucking suck. WandaVision, I couldn't get past the first 15 minutes, bro. Like,
I didn't watch WandaVision.
But so the point is that they haven't been necessarily nailing the TV shows for me, and Loki nailed it. They nailed that shit.
Awesome.
It wasn't even low-key awesome.
Just...
Everybody was talking about that shit. But we've digressed, right? Because we're talking about the equivalent of the Timekeeper character who is a member of the Galactic Orb ship who gives Jerry a sticky orb. And Jerry's like, it's sticky. And they're like, it means that it's found the soul that's pure of heart that it wants to bond with.
And then he's like, oh, wow, Jerry gets a sticky orb. And he's like, I guarantee our orbs aren't sticky for you, Rick.
Oh, yeah, we're well aware of your power within our jurisdiction.
Yeah.
And it's no surprise that our orbs aren't sticky for you. And so what else goes on here, man?
So they invite him to the Galactic Council, but he doesn't know how to use the orb.
Which he accepts it, and they tell him to just follow your heart. You'll know what to do with it. And so he's trying to follow his heart. And the best that he manages to do with the orb is to turn the microwave on remotely.
Yeah, and he's like, and Summer's like, did you turn the mic? He's like, I don't know. I was trying to fly, right? Or teleport.
And Rick's just kind of sitting there watching all this, and the whole family kind of slowly realizes that Jerry isn't going to be able to do anything with this orb, and so they'll just kind of start looking at Rick.
Yeah, and now, and Rick is put in a position of like, okay, well, I have to, like, he's like, Summer's like, you have to help him. And he's like, but why? Like,
Rick's very frank about if I give him unlimited power like me, he's going to be miserable like me. Yeah. Believe me, I'm helping by not helping.
The funny thing is that Jerry had God powers.
And he made bugs. He had God power. He could have cured cancer, and instead he made bugs.
Yeah. And so he's had God powers. He's clearly not responsible with God powers. Like, or
he's just not smart enough to do anything worthwhile with them. That's all.
Like, you could have cured cancer.
He's just an idiot.
And so he ends up building him like a mech suit that runs strictly on the power of the orb that has unlimited resources.
Yeah, it's like an Iron Man suit, except instead of it having a fusion heart, it has an orb that powers the whole thing.
And so from there, he's like, ooh, a cool shooty thing. And he's like, that is a, what is it? It's a nuclear...
It's some type of nuclear weapon that can destroy planets. I can't remember the word they call it.
And he's like, ooh, cool, a cannon thingy. And he's like, that can destroy planets. Like,
yeah, and he like kind of like points it just slightly away from him, point that way. And it's like, bro, it's gonna nerf this whole planet. You're fucked, buddy. But I like how Rick's survival instincts are still there. Like,
and so
point that way.
As it progresses forward, he's like, he wants to fight crime now, right?
Yeah, and he's got basically like a Predator Bob. Remember how Predator had that thing on his wrist? He has like a thing on his wrist where he can go into like a user interface, and I guess Rick has effectively outfitted this suit with Jarvis tech. Yeah, and he just looks for acts of evil happening in the galaxy,
and he finds a planet
called Zeplar Prime.
And it's not run, but it basically is inhabited by nothing but Hitlers. Or at this time.
Well, there's a whole bunch of space Hitlers are convening there. Something like 30 space Hitlers are convening there to plan their ultimate space holocaust together.
Yeah, and so they calculate how many holocausts how many people have been saved.
Said roughly 30 billion people got saved. So the thing is that they say there was no one on the planet, but whenever he flies out to space and shoots the planet, you can see the whole planet.
Yeah,
and has like cities everywhere. Like you know what a city looks like when it's at night and it's lit up, and it's like, there's cities there, and he nerfed that shit. And so, come on. But either way, as far as the news is concerned,
it's called propaganda.
As far as the news is concerned, no one was on the planet, and Jerry did a great job. And Flamingo Dad becomes a complete hit.
Yeah.
Right? Like, it went from trending enough to get the attention of the Galactic Orb ship to now he's like the celebrity on the panel of the Galactic Orb ship.
When does the P come and the belt guy?
Oh, that I have that in my notes.
Oh, that was hilarious.
We'll get there.
Okay,
oh,
that
yeah.
was really great.
Oh, yeah.
That was great.
Yeah, we're going to definitely get there.
Okay,
but, so at this point, this is when we get to a point in the episode where we touched on earlier where Rick busts into the therapy office and turns Goldenfold into a fly and presents Wong with the data to prove that it isn't helping. And he goes on to basically bitch that, everybody's popping champagne for Jerry.
Yeah.
But whenever I do it, it's like an abuse of power. And Wong's like, bruh, you're not being bothered by these people anymore. And you're talking about the repercussions of having to be considerate with your power. Like, these are two good things.
And 30 Hitlers died.
Yeah, oh yeah, and space Hitlers died. It's
Yeah.
like, these are all good things, and you're trying to complain about it.
Yeah,
You wanted
they're like-
something to change, and it did. And Rick goes, huh,
Right.
doing nothing's really the kill move? She goes, I don't know if you should think about it in terms of murder, but yeah. Yeah.
And then he proceeds to turn Goldenfall back into a human.
Well, before she wouldn't even talk to him. Like, she actually put up like a really awesome professional boundary.
Right, yeah.
He was like, I need to talk to you about this. She's like, no, I won't talk to you until you treat me and my patients with respect.
You're right.
And Rick kind of stares at her for like 2 long seconds and then turns Goldenfold back into a person. And Goldenfold has been cured.
Yeah, he has
It's
an
like,
epiphany.
Bro, I was a fly. I was so free of shame and burden. I'm cured.
Fly is like the perfect thing for Goldenfall. It lives on shit and it like...
Oh my god. And it's completely inconsequential.
Yeah. It's like Goldenfold to a T.
Wow. Fucking A. Way to piece that together.
Yeah.
Goldenfold is a literal shit fly. Wow.
That's so great.
Wow. I can't. I'm supposed to be the one coming up with smart shit. Mikey, the fuck? You just beat me to that. Damn.
That was great.
That is great. Goldenfold's a shit fly. Yeah. I don't think I can argue with that one bit. But so, Rick basically compliments Wong.
Yeah.
And she's like, well, this is what we call therapy. And if you'd like more of it, start setting regular meetings with the receptionist at the front. And they don't show it right then, but later on, whenever Rick is out saving the world as Pissmaster, she calls him and goes, hey, you're late for your meeting. He's like, oh, just bill me. We got good shit going on. But the point is that like, he actually turned the corner to the point where he, on his own, started setting regular meetings with the therapist as Rick Sanchez. So,
it's like they said, he went to therapy and he didn't turn himself into a pickle or a fly.
I think the point here for anybody listening is that it doesn't matter how fucking smart you are. Therapy can benefit you. The literal smartest man, the smartest mammal in the galaxy, is finding benefit from talking to the agent of averageness in the shopping center, right?
Even Wong says, like, how did she basically said like mundane stuff is just like, well, just the act of living to Rick is mundane, right? Just the act of being a person is like wiping your ass or taking a shower.
Yeah.
Right? And he's like, but this is just us. We're just people. You're a god among us. Congratulations. But like, sometimes you got to take a shit and take a shower. Like, you got to wipe your ass. Like,
I'm certain it's mundane for you and you'd rather not do it, but you got to.
You got to. And so, like, essentially he finds, like, he finds the courage to do so, which is commendable, but his follow through is just kind of very Rick.
Hey, Rick is new to this bit. Rick is very new to the concept of being healthy.
Right.
Okay, let's cut him some slack. He's taken the first steps. He's actually going to regular therapy
I don't know if I want
now.
to self-actualize to Rick, though. That's like they say sociopaths and psychopaths actually do better in therapy than most people, and they're able to actually like use the tools of therapy.
Yeah, well, exactly. They're tools to get them where they want to go.
Yeah.
Right? Like, if you're a narcissist, therapy will equip you with all kinds of dope-ass tools.
Yeah.
To manipulate your way into fucking whatever you want. So, like... But, Hell, if Rick was became a god honest good person and was using that intellect for it, then I'm certain that would be to everyone's benefit.
Right. Yeah.
But it's a matter of whether or not he can turn that corner and start being a good guy.
If he could actually be genuine
because
in that endeavor.
Because he's a piece of shit.
Yeah.
Like, Rick's a piece of shit, and we can't ever mistake that.
So he leaves the.
He leaves, and it goes to a like big. There's like a press conference that they're holding for Jerry, and this is basically a big plug for Mitsubishi. They give Jerry a Mitsubishi Space Lancer, and he gets to pick his own flight crew, and he picks his family. He picks
the family, yeah.
And they all dip off, and Rick is still like there in the crowd.
Mm-hmm.
And in this moment, Mr. String Bean comes in with his rhyming schemes. And Rick just literally puts on a pair of sunglasses and is completely unbothered to the best visibility.
Yeah.
And Mr. String Bean, you could tell, because like, no one can resist my rhyming schemes. What the fuck is going on here? And as he's actively being confused by it, who is it? Dr. Buckles.
Dr. Buckles with his belts.
Yeah, gonna tighten down your fucking opinions or some shit.
Yeah.
It's some cheesy ass shit. Yeah, some
goofy ass shit with two belts, and he's literally pulling them out, and you hear the whipping sounds. Yeah. And then they like Rick just just chunks Deuce and leaves.
Yeah, they start fighting, and Rick literally is like, "I'll be damned.
Yeah,
I'm out."
He's done with it.
And then he just starts drinking because now he doesn't have anything to fight. There's nothing for him to like. There's no problem for him to be solving.
I'm out, and then proceeds forward as I'm out. Like it's a happy I'm out. It's a happy I'm out. Then it starts to.
Now it's like I'm out of drinks.
Yeah,
I'm out, and like I'm out, motherfucker. And of course.
I wonder if that's the same space bar that when it seems to be that same like kind of dive bar with the flies too.
I'm certain that Rick has a preferred bar somewhere in the galaxy.
Preferred space
it's
bar.
probably the same spot where he went and got himself arrested.
Yeah.
Like where he went where he went and had his last drink at before he went to the feds.
And he probably did like that crystal drug that like
crystallized xanthomite.
Yeah.
I think is what they called it.
That like
fractal dust.
Fractal dust, yeah, that brought everybody together.
Velocitinis. But so Rick goes to presumably his favorite bar and just gets shit-faced.
Yeah.
And, of course, Flamingo Dad is trending everywhere, so everyone at the bar is talking about him. Mm-hmm. And the conversation evolves back to Pissmaster, where everyone's like, what a piece of shit.
Yeah.
How could anybody ever put up with being such a piece of shit? Who could ever even relate to someone who's that big a piece of shit? And Rick is like, oh, I relate.
Yeah.
I'm the king of shit.
Yeah.
And so he goes to try and have someone to wallow with, right?
Yeah.
Like he's
literally got a 6-pack with him. He's got a 6er.
Yeah.
He's knocking at the door.
Yeah, like bro, we're gonna sit here and have a couple beers and be sad
I'm assuming
together.
that this like is it just raining or is that piss? Like I was kind of.
Oh, it's rain.
Okay,
yeah, I believe it's rain. I would have been like, holy shit, that's piss rain.
Yeah.
If I'd seen that.
Yeah, I don't know. Like that's where my mind was. I was like, is that piss or is it just rain? But I mean, it probably was just rain,
I mean, unless whoever was pissing from the sky had been drinking plenty of water.
Yeah.
And it was nice, clear piss.
Yeah. So.
I was on probation for like 2 years, and I smoked weed the entire time I was on probation. And the way I would get away with it is, before my drug tests, I would go in and just drink like 2 gallons of water, like just drink and drink and drink and drink until literally you're full. Like you can't hold any more liquid.
Yeah.
And you keep flushing your system until you've pissed out all the old piss that you had, and now the only fluid that's in your system left is fresh fluid, and it's so flushed that you have to get that out. And so there's a period of time where you're getting the piss out of you so fast because there's so much more in on top needing to push it out that the piss that you're pissing out hasn't been in your body for a long enough period of time for it to suck all the actual toxins out of your body. 'Cause that's what piss is water that has had an opportunity to suck all toxins out of your body.
Like this sounds gross, but this is piss talk with Monkey Mouth. Welcome. It's a lot of blood. It's a shitload of blood.
What is?
Your piss.
Is blood?
It's a lot of blood.
I had no idea.
But your kidneys filter out the blood. That's why it doesn't come out red.
Oh,
Could you
I
imagine just like pissing blood?
Yeah, it's the gook. It's the gut, the nasty stuff from in your blood and stuff. They filter out and it gets out through your piss.
Yeah.
But so the point is is that, what the fuck was the point?
The point was
What the fuck
that we were just
about?
talking about him coming with the sixer, the piss rain. We were just talking about that.
Oh, we were talking about how I was on probation,
probation.
And I kept passing my drug test because I would flush my body with water.
Yeah.
And I would just give them piss that hadn't been in my body long enough to actually absorb the THC from my blood.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a solid plan. I did that for almost 2 years. I literally was, and I was on deferred adjudication probation. That's like the big boy probation where if you fuck up at all, they'll send you to jail immediately.
That sounds like a lot of water.
It was a lot of water, and it was miserable. And one time I went to jail. So I went to probation, and they miraculously found a 2-year-old warrant all of a sudden. And so I had to go to jail that day. And like I had to take a 45-minute trip in the back of a cop car to the jail, holding back a flooded amount of piss.
Yeah.
Right? Like there's literally too much.
A Austin Powers amount of piss.
There's literally more fluid than my body is meant to hold.
Yeah.
It's like, bro, you need to get this out of you. Like
Yeah.
your like sides start hurting and shit. Like,
Yeah.
it's fucking not pleasant. But so it could have been piss rain because I have seen clear piss. It can be done. You can absolutely drink enough water to piss completely clear. And I've been there and done that. But that was a pretty big digression that I wasn't necessarily expecting. I'm sorry, everybody. Now y'all know a little bit about me.
So he's there with the sixer. He's there to commiserate with the piss master.
Eugene Michael Piss.
And I love his tech. Like even his like, he just like he knocks on the door. He's like, okay, fuck it. Like just clicks him. Like shoots like a gun at it.
He walks through a portal.
Yeah, he
portals his way in.
Yeah, and it's just like kind of like squares that make the door essentially gone.
Yeah.
And he walks through the portal to come into the house, and it's just a wreck. It's clearly like a divorcee.
I mean, he has not been taking proper
Yeah.
care of himself or his space.
Yeah, and it's just like it's just trashed. And so he knows something's up. I think he like.
Well, and what really sets him off is he gets to the stairwell and there's water pouring down the stairs. He follows the trail of water up the stairs to the restroom, and of course, Pissmaster's fucking dead in the toilet or in the bathtub.
He slit his wrist, bro. Like he was serious.
Yeah, and so Rick fixes his wrists and shocks him to bring him back to life, but he's been gone for too long.
Yeah,
he comes back just scrambled. His eyes like going in different directions incoherently. He's like
gibberish.
blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
And Rick has to fucking realize, okay, he's been gone for too long. There's no bringing him back. Damn it! Hits a button and he just zaps dead again.
Yeah, he's just gone.
And right as Rick's realizing all this, there's a ring at the doorbell.
Yeah. Does he find the note before the ring or
It's
after?
after.
Okay.
And he goes, he's like, she's knocking at the door, and he literally hits a portal. He's like,
Yeah.
I'm about to just be like, fuck this. This isn't my problem, whatever. And he hears the pain in his daughter's voice going, I said all that mean shit about you on my podcast. Oh, look at my podcast. But she's like, if you ever did anything, I'd never be able to forgive myself. And Rick, again, like, trying to be a good guy, tries to comfort her by putting on the Pissmaster mask and going,
if anything was to ever happen to me, it would never be your fault.
Yeah, exactly. And now, in reality, he shouldn't have even done that.
Yeah.
He shouldn't have even done that, but he could have gotten the fuck out of there at this point.
Yeah.
But, that's traumatizing. He just went through something traumatizing, so he sits down to have a beer, and he finds Pissmaster's suicide note.
Yeah, and it basically, you get beat up by a Jerry, I guess it's time to...
He very matter-of-factly blames Jerry Smith for his suicide.
Yeah.
And goes on to say that, realizing that all those people were cheering for him made me realize that all these people have always wanted me to fucking fail, and all I want to do is prove them wrong.
Yeah.
That's how he ends the note. And, of course, this fucking resonates with Rick because Rick's a piece of shit.
Yeah.
He gets that need to, he wants to be a good guy. In quite the same way as Pissmaster wants to be a good guy.
Without a doubt, although he seems to have a lot of abandonment problems, he really does want people to he wants people to love him. He wants to be respected. He he goes about it in a.
Oh, I mean, do you remember how destructive he got whenever he realized that he wasn't Morty's hero?
Yeah.
Whenever he realized that the Vindicators were Morty's heroes instead of him, and then homie proceeded to murder the fucking Vindicators. Like, yeah, dude, Rick. And again, it's just he's so destructive, and that's why it makes it hard to love him in the moment. But like, he's got well intentions. You could tell at times.
I mean, to the point where he puts a lot of his emotions for Summer right on the front burner.
Yeah, well, Summer's his favorite. He's been very, very frank about that. But so Rick in this moment decides to redeem Pissmaster.
Yeah.
He decides in that moment that Pissmaster deserves to go out like the good guy that he was deep down.
Yeah.
And so I'm gonna go.
So he does some good shit. He does some like he
saves a cat.
Yeah. So he's building up his reputation as
heat-seeking pistles.
piss suckers. Was it piss lollies?
What was it?
Piss pops.
Yeah, piss pop. Piss pop.
Piss pop. Piss pop. Piss pop.
I wish that he could have given them pisticles. There's so many fun things you can do with that.
And so he's slowly like amping up his reputation as a good guy. Like you said, he gets a cat out of a tree, and then TMZ's there, I think, and they're like, "Are you doing this so that people will stop thinking you're a big piece of shit?" And he's like, "Nope, just doing it for the heck of it."
Yeah, just saving the cat for the sake of saving the cat.
There's no story here. Let's go, guys. Like, just takes all of the wind out of those troll sails.
And Pissmaster effectively becomes a hit.
Yeah.
Right? He keeps doing all this good.
I don't know exactly what planet it was, but it was being taken over by a volcano. Right?
I believe it was Pissmaster's planet. I think that he was doing stuff on Pissmaster's home planet.
So there was clearly...
Because, it was his daughter, because the people looked like Pissmaster. They were aliening quite the same way.
Yeah. And so he's like drenching piss all over the volcano.
Well, he's turning the flowing molten lava into stationary rock by cooling it down with piss.
And at a certain point, they're so happy that Pissmaster's saving them that they drop the umbrella.
They're just like, fuck it. Let's just
like envelop themselves in the piss.
And while this is all going down, Wong calls him.
Yeah.
And this is what we called to earlier, where she said, you're late for your appointment. He's like, fuck it, bill me. I think I'm breaking through right here.
And he tells her everything that he's going to do.
Yeah, he told her what he's done and what he's doing. Yeah. And Wong's like, well, as long as it's like free and fun and it makes you feel good,
proceed
forward. He's like, oh, fuck. Well, good to know.
Yeah.
Like, that was literally his response. Like, oh,
he's like,
fuck.
He's like, all right, well, it looks like I'm doing pretty good
Holy
at this,
shit. Like, it's funny how he doesn't even realize he's doing good. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like takes Dr. Wong to be like, hey, you're doing all right there. To be like, oh, fuck, really?
Yeah.
Like, his response is literally, oh, fuck.
Yeah.
And so good on Rick for, like, finally discovering some good shit to do.
And so from there, we get the council, right?
So Pissmaster has managed to get on the Galactic Orb ship's radar, and they vote unanimously, minus Jerry, to give Pissmaster an orb. And so to test Jerry's pettiness, they make Jerry be the one to go and give the orb to Pissmaster.
Yeah, and so he's basically giving him all the reasons of why Pissmaster sucks, and he's like, hey, people can change. Like, go give him the orb.
Yeah. Very straight up.
Yeah, and so he goes to give him an orb on Orphan Planet.
Yeah, it's on Orphan Island.
Orphan Island.
Where Rick has a nuclear bomb planted there. Rick made a nuclear bomb, planted it, put out the threat to blow up the island so that everybody would go into a panic, so that he could come in, take the bomb, fly off into space, have the suit auto fly the fucking bomb out to space, and it blow up the suit and the bomb, and everybody think that Pissmaster died like a sacrificial hero's death.
Essentially the same thing that Batman did on the very last.
Yeah, exactly. Literally, exactly what Batman did. And so, but as he's going to do this, Flamingo Dad shows Dad up and tries to give him the orb. And
but this is the best part. This is the part we were talking about with the kid trying to disarm the bomb.
With the scissors.
And since that's Orphan Island and they're all kids, he's like, "Can I mention that I'm only 8?" And he's like cutting it with like child safety scissors.
Yeah, they have like the round, round safety scissors.
Oh God, so great, man.
I love that. So Jerry, of course, doesn't realize that Rick is Pissmaster, and whenever Rick won't take the orb, it pisses Jerry off, and
he
Jerry
thinks he's
tries,
just being petty.
and so Jerry tries to stop him by force to give him the orb, and of course that doesn't work because he's trying to stop Rick.
I like how they talk about it in forms of wrestling terms. He's like, "Oh man, when did Flamingo Dad turn heel?"
Yeah, when did Flamingo Dad become a shitheel?
Yeah, shit heel.
And so as they're flying through the air with this nuclear bomb strapped to Rick's Pissmaster suit, Jerry knocks the Pissmaster helmet off and realizes that it's Rick.
Yeah.
And he has this like moment of what the fuck. And in that moment where they stop fighting, Rick exits the suit. And I love
you noticed that.
love
I did not even notice
that he spins and flushes out of the fucking super suit like it's a toilet.
Yeah.
And the thing blows up and they land, and of course the family and the Space Lancer pull up and they're like, bro, what the fuck is going on? Like, why were you
fighting?
why were you trying to fight that guy as he was trying to save people from a nuclear bomb? And Jerry didn't even really address it. He's like, bruh, Pissmaster is your dad type shit. And as this is all like kind of transpiring, the galactic orb ship comes back and go, hey man, what the fuck? People are saying you turned shitheel. I love that these 1,000-year-old beings are getting the information that they need to dictate whether or not they're gonna feel how they're gonna feel about somebody from social media.
Yeah.
Right, like, come on, bro. The 1,000-year-old dude from the galactic orb ship is determining, based on views and likes on social media, who's going to be a member of the galactic orb ship.
It's hilarious.
It's fucking sexy, bro. I can't get enough of that shit. But they wind up taking Jerry's orb. And as they take the orb, the suit, like, falls off of him. It just kind of, like, at the seams, falls off of him. And, motherfucking bitch.
No. It was
fucking bitch. We got too many things that'll make noise in this bit.
We got too many boops and bops.
Oh well. Listen, if the worst case scenario is that someone hears a whoop off in the background every
copyright strike by Microsoft for their patented boop.
God damn, wouldn't that be a bitch?
Oh, that would be fucking gross,
That'd be so
man.
fucking funny.
I would love it.
I would literally make that happen every 30 seconds. They'd just be boop 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 all the time. I'd be a thorn in their side. It's so much easier to just leave me alone. God damn it, it's so much easier to just leave me alone. But Rick lies about Pissmaster.
Yeah.
Right? Rick Jerry's like, so you were Pissmaster the whole time? And Rick's like, no, obviously I put on the Pissmaster suit after Pissmaster
No.
Yeah, I was Pissmaster the whole time. And I love that Rick was, again, trying to be considerate of someone who he admits is one of the stupidest people he's ever met, right? Like, I'm going to go out of my way to try and make sure that Jerry feels okay. He doesn't deserve to feel like shit.
He's not perfect. He kept the note, right?
Which, again, trauma makes you do weird shit.
Yeah.
So, everybody kind of like shits on Jerry for questioning Rick's motives. They're like, bro, obviously Rick's trying to turn a new leaf and do good, this and that. And they get back to the house, and the Space Lancer goes, you're no longer worthy of Mitsubishi, and like spits them out and flies off on its own.
Which is hilarious. That's like one of the best parts.
And they wind up saying that it's piss under the bridge.
Yeah, it's piss under the bridge. Rick says, don't worry about it, it's just piss under the bridge. And then he proceeds to take Morty off to the side and let him know that Pissmaster killed himself.
He's like, bro, I couldn't. I couldn't just sit on that.
Yeah.
And Morty's like, you expected me to? And it just immediately goes and tells everybody about the truth about what happened. And
devastates. Like, for some reason Jerry comes back in his underwear.
Well, so he fell out of the suit.
Oh, right, yeah, that's right. So he's in his underwear and he's like distraught.
Of course. And Rick's like, don't be mad at me.
Yeah.
I thought I was pretty cool for trying to withhold that information. And Morty's like, but you didn't. You kept the note. I was like, well, I showed you the note to validate what I was saying, and I
Yeah.
didn't expect you to turn snitch immediately. Like, I did withhold that information from the person who it was going to negatively
who it
affect
was
the most.
yeah.
You're the one who went and spilled the beans to everybody, you little punk ass. But, again, I do think it's fair of Morty to go, you couldn't hold that in. How do you expect me? How can you expect me to hold that in? It's ridiculous. And so Jerry is, of course, miserable again, and Rick very matter-of-factly goes, I told you all this was going to happen if we gave Jerry power like me. And now look at it. He's miserable like me.
Yep.
And that's where the episode ends.
What a beautiful episode, man.
Yeah, I thought it was great, man. I thought it was a lot of fun, right? It shows what would happen if any typical Jerry among us were equipped with power and clout.
And even, to a certain point, he didn't come to Rick asking what it felt like to be a god, or what it felt like, why among all people does he feel like he's almost head and shoulders above it. Like when Beth was like, there's something wrong with me, I don't want to be watching TV and sitting on a couch.
No. See, Jerry wasn't trying to change.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Jerry was just trying to enable his current self.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. So like when Beth came to the conclusion of kind of wanting to be different, or like embrace her genius, he essentially gives her the same thing though. He gives her the same talk that he gives Jerry. It's just like, it's a lonely road. Like the universe does not want to be tamed. Like.
No, it's basically an animal. It makes legions of idiots so that it can eat them. And I've never met a universe that likes being taken for a ride, and it's going to buck you eventually.
And it bucked Jerry.
It did.
Jerry's not using his wits because he doesn't have much. He's using.
Well, it's just he let his ego get in the way, right? Yeah. He felt like his come up was predicated on Pissmaster being held down.
And even one of the galactic like the main person in the Galactic Council is like, I've seen many of Flamingo dads.
He's like, I'm 1,000 years old. Yeah. Do you have any idea how many flamingo dads I've seen?
Yeah, exactly. So,
what do you think your favorite part of the whole episode was?
I have to say the scissors, man. I don't know why that was like
that line. I have to reiterate that I'm 8 years old, man.
And he's like literally cutting it with the like plastic child safe scissors was just hilarious. And then just Mr. Nimbus just pointing with his crotch.
Oh, Mr. Nimbus fucking flexing his dick on everybody is always top tier.
It's hilarious.
Yeah, it's really, really hard to pass up on that.
Yeah. To the point where storytellers like call me the new Mr. Nimbus.
Yeah. I think that it's a tough one for me, man. It's either the part in the fight whenever Jerry starts double fist windmilling him. Just walking forward, double fist windmilling. That shit is so silly. And then the other one is what was the other one that I really liked?
You like with Dr. Goldenfold with the like.
Oh no, not the fly.
No. Whenever he's like, if this is confident, is everything
exactly?
Here?
That's the one. Dr. Wong.
Dr. Wong. I'm sorry.
Yeah, is he okay? Is everything in this office confidential?
Everything but murder.
Then he's fine.
Then he's fine. Or everything but a homicide. Then he's fine.
He's absolutely fine.
Yeah.
So yeah, Rick murdering one of his lower level enemies in front of Dr. Wong, and him having to play it off like he didn't just kill somebody.
I don't know, but even like was a Cookie Magneto. What a.
Oh, bro, he pussed. He turned Cookie Magneto into fucking sizzle fried bacon pus, bro. That was. Done.
And I just love how Morty's
I know you're gonna call it punching down.
Morty's like so used to fighting these people. He's just kind of taking the piss out of them, just having fun with them, and like Rick's like just pusses him,
He's like, hey, we're supposed to like an order of operations here, man. We're supposed to like entertain this.
Yeah.
He's like, nah, man, I don't have energy for that. I'm not the tick. I'm not the tick. I'm exhausted.
Oh man, what a great episode.
And so there's another one tomorrow.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so it's Sunday, right? Today's Saturday?
Today's Saturday.
Yeah, so we got a little behind on production, so there's going to be a few that come out really quickly.
We holidays kind of got away from
Bruh,
us.
I straight up thought that it came back on the 26th.
Yeah.
I thought that it came back after
Thanksgiving.
Yeah. So I didn't even look. I actually didn't watch. What was the one that we just did?
That was the The piss one.
Protagonist.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Protagonist. Yeah.
Yeah, and all them. So that episode, I didn't even watch until about 20 minutes before we did the episode.
Yeah, which that one definitely,
because I had done missed it. I turned on Rick and Morty and watched Elias piss, thinking that we were going to do an episode on that.
I had watched the one and didn't see Elias piss. I had only saw the one before it, so I didn't even see Elias piss.
It's amazing we get this podcast out. It really is amazing that we actually fucking managed to pull this together. As y'all can see, we're fucking discombobulated.
But we're not incel piece of the shit.
No, I am absolutely not celibate. I have a child. That's a fact. But at any rate, you fucking dork ass incels, I appreciate y'all tuning in. We'll catch you guys on the next one. The Portal Boys been podcasting. It's been a fun episode.
All right, man. Thank y'all so much for watching. This is Elias.
Monkey mouth. Monkey mouth. Monkey mouth. Monkey mouth.